Hey all, I'm Zahir, and today I'll be discussing about like when we browse www.google.com in our browser, what are the things used to happen in the background. So generally, as a common user, when we browse www.google.com, so in the fraction of seconds, the Google web page used to come on our screen, right? But in reality, there's so many exciting things used to happen in those fraction of seconds. I'll explain those things in brief. Before that, just let's have a scenario where there are two persons in a different locations, and person A and person B, and they want to communicate with each other. Let's suppose person A want to communicate with the person B. So what do you think? What is the prerequisite for person A? If they are communicate, if person A want to communicate with mobile phone, definitely the mobile numbers of person B, right? So mobile number of person B is the address. Using that address, he can actually communicate. He can actually ping the person B. So similarly, in the internet, we are communicating with each other using our devices, whether it may be a mobile phone or laptop or other device. Don't you think they should have the addresses? Yes, so actually in reality they have the addresses. In technical terms, we call this as IP address. So using this IP address, they used to communicate. The devices used to communicate with each others in the internet. Hope you got this point. So I'll share my screen first. Hope my screen is visible to you. So let's suppose this is my browser, right? Here I'm pinging www.google.com. So it will open the web page of Google, like here, right? So but as I mentioned earlier, so device this machine cannot understand this simple English names. They used to communicate with each other using IP address, but here we are typing the names, right? There should be resolution happen in the backend. So yeah, exactly, we have DNS domain name server which used to do this process in the backend. It will map convert the names into IP address, and using that IP address, it will actually give the IP address and to your browser, and further browser can communicate with the destination using that IP address. So it's simple. I mean, why it is so? Why we are typing names? Because as a human, it's like we can easily remember names rather than numbers, right? So that's why, like, let's in your phone also. Let's suppose what you used to do, how you save the numbers with names, right? You supposed to map the numbers with the name, so it will be easy for you to just pick that name and just ping that person using that name only. So similarly, same case is here. Using IP address, you can also open this web page. So I'll show you. Firstly, sorry, yaar, just open the command prompt. So we need to know the IP address of Google. So just do ns lookup. What we are pinging, www.google.com, right? So it will give the IP address. Here you can see it's 172.216.161.4. So here we can also ping 172.117.161.4, I guess. I'll just compare 217, sorry, it's 217. This is the IP address. So using this IP address, we can also directly open the web page. So, but as I said, as a human, we cannot remember the IP address of all the available addresses, whether it may be Google, Amazon, Flipkart, or maybe your college websites. You cannot remember all those IP addresses, right? At least you can, using names, you can at least ping. So it will when you browse with name, it will go to DNS, and in the DNS it will they have the mapping of the names with the IP address. From there we will get the IP address, and after that IP address will ping to the web server. So I'll explain you in detail how exactly it works in the background. So when you browse www.google.com from your browser, the first thing it will do is like it will check the local cache. Local cache means the browser cache. If in your past, if you had already visited the website, then at that time it will store the IP address of that website in the browser cache, so that it become very faster for you to just connect, that you don't need to go for resolution all the way to DNS and all those things. So in case if it is if the IP address of that name available in your local cache, it will give the IP. And further, yeah, one more thing I just want to say here is, using IP address only, you cannot ping or communicate that with other with your destination. You need to know the MAC address also. So for that, first you will do check the local cache for the MAC address of your destination. If it is available there, then it's well and good. You will directly ping the destination. But if it is not there, then it will do the ending. Ending is for just checking whether your destination is available in your network or not. If it is not, then it will do the proxy ARP. ARP is basically address resolution protocol, which basically used to find out the MAC address corresponding to your IP address. Once we get the MAC address, then it will directly connect with the web server, and we can fetch the web page. In case if the IP address is not available in the local cache, then it will go and check the operating system file in this known as host file, where sorry, in the host file we manually used to map the IP addresses, name with the IP addresses. If it is found in the host file, then it will do the same procedure and connect with the web server. In case if it is not found in the host file, then it will go for DNS name resolution. It will for connecting DNS, we need to know the IP address. So from where we will get the IP address? In the time of when DHCP, in the booting process, when DHCP assign you the IP address, at that time DHCP also give you the IP address of DNS also, which will be available in your TCP IP setting. It will check there and get the IP address, and after that again connecting to the DNS, we need to know the MAC address. For that, it will check the local cache and proxy ARP, as I explained earlier. It will be the same procedure. After getting MAC address, it will connect to the DNS, and further I'll explain here. Once it reach to the DNS, right? So the first thing it will do is it will check the local cache of DNS. If it is available in the local cache, well and good, it will directly give the IP address to the browser, and it will get the MAC address, and it will connect to the web server, and it will fetch the web page. But in case if it is not there in the DNS local cache, then what it will do, it will go for recursive query. It will connect with the root server, and it will ask to the root server, hey, do you have the IP address of www.google.com? Then in this case, root server is not the authoritative server. It will say, hey, I don't have the IP address of google.com, www.google.com, but I can give you the top .com IP address. .com is the top level domain server. So it will say, hey, I can give you the .com address. So once it get the .com IP address, it will connect to the .com server and ask the same question, hey, .com server, do you have the IP address of www.google.com? Then again, the .com server is not the authoritative server. It will again say, sorry, I cannot give the IP address of complete www.google.com, but I can give you the IP address of google.com. Then after that, it will connect to the google.com server now and ask this same question, hey, do you have the IP address of www.google.com? And in this case, the google.com server is the authoritative server to give the IP address, and it will check its own zone file, and there will be mapping to the name of with this google.com. It will fetch the IP address corresponding to the name, and it will give it back to the DNS, and can say, I can give you the IP address of www.google.com. Once the DNS get the IP address, it will store this IP address into its own local cache, so that in future, if someone else is doing the query, he can easily give it from its own local cache. and further it will give the IP address to the browser, and browser will get the MAC address using ARP, and after that it will connect to the web server and fetch the web page, and ultimately we will get the Google web page. So that's all, guys. Hope you guys at least understood what exactly the high level of what exactly used to happen in the backend when you browse. It's not just about www.google.com. It's all about like anything which you are browsing. Same thing used to happen there. It will, instead of going to web server of Google, it will go to the particular web server which you are browsing. So that's how used to happen in the backend for us. Like as I said, it's in the fraction of second the web page used to come, but in the in the backend there's so many things used to happen. That's all, guys. Hope you guys at least got something from this one, and thank you so much.